You know what's really fun about that bit? Is that you didn't tell us.
It was like my jazz kitchen.
That was the jazz kitchen.
The jazz kitchen move. All right, Misha, get off. Let's do it right. Let's do it right. I don't want to.
You haven't seen Misha yet. You have no idea what he's wearing.
No, Dan, I haven't. By the way, he and Billy are twins. They're wearing the exact same outfit. Good luck telling them apart. Ladies and gentlemen, Misha Gallon!
That's the response we often get.
The tears and the vomit?
Yeah.
The soft, gentle cry that turns into a barf. Misha, how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty well. Somebody in my photo ops came up and they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw up." And I thought it was very heartwarming.
It was almost heartwarming.
Thank you for not throwing up, by the way.
On behalf of everyone.
From everybody. Yeah. The photo op would have taken on a different vibe for the next few days. We're in the town of your university, right? I mean, you went to the University of Chicago.
That's true. Yep. Anybody else here? I met a couple of people who went to Chicago.
I see one waving. What are you guys? There's a
handful of people who are ashamed about it.
The woodchucks.
The woodchucks?
That's right, the University of Chicago Gooey Ducks.
That's ferocious.
The dragons.
The Maroons?
The Maroons?
What is our mascot, though? What? That's not an animal, though.
Maroons. What do you guys do?
It's the Maroons.
We're so bad at sports that we couldn't even find an animal.
It was just a color. Let's just name it after whatever color we are.
So, is it like maroon like the color, or maroon like you're on a desert island and Bo left you alone? We've been left to our own devices.
I don't know if things have changed since I was a University of Chicago student, but when I was there, we were tier 3, and at the very bottom in athletics.
Well, at least you're at one end of the spectrum.
That's right. We were a standout.
You were an achiever.
But you got to somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you to it, but real quickly, let's briefly mention. So, Misha Collins, Creation and Entertainment, and myself had a conversation a few weeks ago. We thought, you know what we need to do? You're a passionate man. These guys are passionate men. Everybody in the creation universe cares about getting active politically. And we thought, why don't we make it easy, if you haven't registered to vote, why don't we make it easy for the supernatural family to do it? So, Misha Collins turned to his infrastructure of random acts, and we have brought, and will continue to bring, voter registration to conventions.
To be clear, Random Acts is not doing that.
No.
We are doing it.
We're doing it.
But we are, we feel like, is there anybody here who's not registered? It's okay, don't be ashamed. And if you're under 18, you're from England, defect.
You're here enough, let's be honest.
By the way, I loved those demonstration photos that you guys. I only wish we could get that many white people in America to turn out for that cause. I mean, no matter where you land on the political spectrum, you lose your right to engage in political discourse and to call yourself a patriot and to care about this country at all if you don't show up and vote.
That's right. So we made it easy. It's here. It's out there.
You can go, you can sign up, you can register, and you can either be a part of the solution or you can be a part of the problem, both by voting, by the way.
Well, I'm going to leave you to it, but my last slogan is, kids, don't get angry, get active, get over there and register to vote. Misha Collins, everybody.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice nice to be back in Chicago. Are there a lot of people here who actually live in the city or in the suburbs, like close by? Chicago has changed so much since I was here. I remember when I was a student at University of Chicago, coming to volunteer to work on painting apartments in Cabrini Green. Does anybody even know what Cabrini Green is? There were these massive high-rises that were built as a part of the Great Society program for federal housing. And it was a real sort of catastrophe, this experiment, because basically it was just like concentrating poverty in one spot. And it was just so sketchy, and like there was, at times like you'd see like blood splattered on the walls, and it was just really, really dire. And now it's like hip burger joints where Cabrini Green was. Like the city has changed so much, it's kind of amazing. I do love this city though, I miss it. I was thinking about going back to the old campus and just sort of walking around and seeing if any of the students there recognize me. Your room?
What?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't intrigued. Oh, not to your room tomorrow. Less interesting.
You're busy, right?
Pardon me?
You're busy tomorrow, right?
I am. No, I'm free. I can cancel things. Why? What do you have in mind? Okay, great. Sweet, give me your room number and we'll work that out. Speaking of which, my dorm at Chicago had the highest per capita rate of suicide of any dorm in America when I was there, which is, I thought, a badge of honor. Again, it's like at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, but you know. Goats? That's all? Ghosts? I am having a hard time hearing you people. We have microphones on either end of the stage for a reason. Disorderly conduct. We did have a lot of goats though, because we had a scavenger hunt, sheep to be technical, and one of the items in the scavenger hunt was live sheep. And so we had to go to Wisconsin to get live sheep. Wisconsin sheep! All of the Wisconsin sheep owners, say hi. 3 people. I've told that story too many times, so I'm not going to repeat it, but it was a bad sheep situation in college. All right, I don't know if I have many other stories for you. Well, I'll tell you this one thing, and this not because of statute of limitations. Nobody can come after me for this anymore. So when I first got to Chicago, I noticed that there were all these locks, these padlocks on these grates, and these grates led into these steam tunnels, and these steam tunnels were like a network of walkable tunnels all under the campus. They went under the midway, and they went to every dorm and every school building and administrative building. And I was like, well, that seems like such a great way to deal with the cold winter. Like, you don't have to walk around in the snow and the wind. You can just walk around in the steam tunnels. But, of course, they had these padlocks. So I went to a flea market just south of the Loop, and I bought bolt cutters. And I got around campus in the network of steam tunnels and would occasionally, if I'm being completely honest, raid the kitchens in the various dormitories. And I remember I had in my dorm room this, it was like a 5-gallon bucket of refried beans. I gained a lot of weight the first year of college, which is true. Okay, but let's not talk about that. I don't know what else I should tell you before getting into questions. No, nothing. Nothing. You look eager to
What's
talk.
up, Misha?
Why
How
don't
are
you
you?
You're new?
No, how are you?
Oh, I'm well, thank you.
Sorry, a little terrified.
You're terrified?
So, my question is, what's the most uncomfortable or creepy thing that a fan has sent you?
That's really tough to say. There have been so many creepy things that fans have sent me. I get letters, you know, that describe in graphic detail sex acts. I get some like malproportioned drawings of my children where they look like demons. Well, speaking of which, sidebar. So, 2 days ago, Mason brought home from school her book of drawings that she had done, and they're all just like imaginary, you know, her just imagination, just drawings, mostly rainbows, some butterflies, and a picture of two people in a tulip, and they're like nestled together in a tulip. And she said, "Mom, that's you and that's me." And Vicky was like, "Oh, that's me? Really? Is that me, or are you just saying that to make me feel good?" And she said, "No, it's you." I'm sorry that I made you look kind of like a demon. So it really took the sort of the air out of the moment. What were we talking about?
What's the creepy
things.
Yeah.
So, one fan, I didn't know it was from a fan, and I didn't know how it showed up at my house. Just one day, I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And it was a very realistically proportioned human derriere in this sort of like flesh-colored silicone material. What? I guess it was an ass butt, now that you mention it. I never made that connection. This is why it takes a village. So it was an ass butt. And you know, the clapper, like clap on, clap off. This happened to be something that had a power cord. You could plug it in, and if you mounted it on the wall and slapped it, the light would turn on. And I saw this and I was like, this is kind of hilarious. And so I put it in my luggage when I went for Christmas vacation with the family, because I wanted to show my sisters and my dad. And I never managed to plug it in and show them. We got busy with other things. But the staff at the Mexican resort that we were staying at were all like, "Oh my God, you know, this guy's on TV." They all were kind of all in our business, and they all knew who we were. And then they sent an email after we checked out and went home saying, "You left this behind with a photo of that ass butt that we had traveled across international borders with." And it's super hard to explain your way out of that, especially with any kind of language barrier. It was like, no, you guys go ahead and keep it. So I'm sure somewhere in Cabo right now, there's somebody's like, "Yeah, this is Misha Collins' weird sex toy. Look at this." Oh, think of the horrible things this thing has seen. So thanks for jogging my memory.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Say it's a pleasure to meet you. You're one of my favorite actors.
Oh my gosh, well, you have no discretion, but thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Do you watch anything other than Supernatural?
Yes, I do.
Really?
I have seen some of your movies, so.
So you've seen some movies?
Stonehenge Apocalypse.
Yes, I saw the one with the Stonehenge Apocalypse.
Okay, in your defense, there was some really phenomenal acting in that film. Stonehenge Apocalypse was great because it was nice to just have, because it was a film, and not TV. TV, sometimes, we'll get the scripts a couple weeks in advance, we can read it, we can think about it. But this is a movie, so the timeline is radically compressed. I got the call saying, hey, I got a call from my agent saying, hey, where are you? And I said, I'm up in Vancouver, and my agent was like, oh, good. Would you be able to start working on a movie tomorrow? They hadn't cast, or probably what happened is they cast it, and then the actor read the script, and they're like, no, I'm not doing this. So I was like, great, let's do it. So started shooting, and then repeatedly during the filming of it, we would, finish a scene, and then the first AD would come up and say, hey, Misha, I think we're going to grab that other scene. I'd be like, what other scene? Oh, nobody told you? So I wouldn't know the lines. I wouldn't have, looked at the scene at all because nobody clued me in that we were about to shoot it. And I'd be like, can you give me 5 minutes to try to learn the lines and then we'll shoot it? And that's how you get that incredibly extemporaneous and, thoughtful performance that you see. I had a driving scene and I just had them write my lines on the windshield. You could see my eyes moving back and forth like a teleprompter. But enough about me, we're here to talk about you.
I was wondering, when you're with your kids, do you ever break out into your cast character just to freak them out or mess with them?
I don't think it would really freak them out that much because they don't watch Supernatural. So they would just be like, why is he doing another weird thing, I guess they're not quite old enough to be consistently embarrassed by me yet. And when I act weird, they still think it's kind of funny, which is nice. But my son is just sort of gaining awareness of, what Supernatural is. He played Monopoly for the first time last weekend, and he really liked it. And I was like, well, I hate to brag, but I'm on a Monopoly game, because there's Supernatural Monopoly. And he was like, let's get it, let's get it. And I got a text this morning from Vicky saying that that they had opened the Supernatural Monopoly that had come from Amazon, and West wanted to be Castiel on the thing, which I thought, kind of a lame character, but still sweet. Yeah. I didn't answer your question, but
That was my question.
Sorry, hold on. Hey, Vic. Wait, don't hang up on me. Yeah? I don't know if you remember, but the last time this happened, you called me an asshole. And then hung up. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
She loves being put on the spot. Hi.
Hi. I can't really top that. I was just going to ask you, when you went to HollyCon recently, it looked like you had a lot of fun. Do you have any stories about being over there, the things you saw and everything?
In Japan?
Yeah.
I will tell you this. I had a few, Japan is amazing. I've been now twice, and it's so completely different from our world and life. I do get the feeling that there's a lot of, people are thinking a lot, like, oh, you stupid American. And I kind of agree. Everything is so incredibly thoughtful and purposeful. I was in the airport and there was a custodian coming along and cleaning, and the way she was cleaning the seats was like, everything was sort of meticulous and purposeful, and there's this Zen mentality that permeates everything, from table service, at a restaurant to cleaning seats at an airport. And I really like that. It's really lovely. I stayed at a ryokan, which is a traditional Japanese inn. And the one I stayed in, Charlie Chaplin stayed in my room back in the 20s. And it was super cool. And it was run by fifth generation. The fifth generation was running this ryokan. And it's just lovely. Basically, you just sit in your room all day. And people occasionally come in and bring you things. And yeah, it was very lovely. And I ate, I went out for sushi with Mark Shepard, and several of the things that we ate were still moving, which was really cool. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
You've been to Japan.
No, but I've been into the islands kind of near, so it's a similar culture.
Mm-hmm.
But
they wouldn't let you in?
What? What was that?
They wouldn't let you into Japan?
They have good taste, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Maybe next time. Thank you.
Good talk. I mean, the other thing that's amazing about it, like Tokyo has the same population roughly as Canada. One city has that many people packed into it. So the kind of crazy stuff that happens in Tokyo is really remarkable. There's like every kind of themed restaurant you can imagine, and there are places or stretches of the city that at like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, not that I was up walking around at that time, look like they dwarf Times Square. Like it's just so many lights, and so it's really otherworldly. Yeah, good talk. Hi.
Hi. In advance, I just wanted to say thank you for like making Gishwas. Like me just turning 15 and already having all these memories from Gishwas with like my mom and stuff.
Oh, really?
So I really.
You did it last year with your mom?
Mm-hmm. We went on the Skype call when you did the whole. I don't know. The rap party.
Oh yeah. Is that your mom right there?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your dog? It's your dog. You don't share your dog with your daughter?
He gets more attention than me.
Yeah. I feel like we've found a pain point in the relationship. She loves the dog more than me. The only time she talks to me is when we're doing Gish. How long has your mother not loved you?
3 years.
3 years. Is that when she got the dog? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask if how it felt to play yourself in like The French Mistake, and how it felt to just be Misha when you are usually cast in Supernatural.
By the way, astute observation that I am usually cast in Supernatural. A lot of people miss that important detail. It was bittersweet for me, to be honest with you. I talked to Ben Edlund, who wrote that script, and I communicated with him a little bit after the first draft came in, and I was like, you know, this is like, it's actually kind of, as it's written, it's kind of close to my personality, but it would be fun if we kind of pushed it a little and made me seem like what I said was, can we make me the quintessential douchebag actor? Which I think in their minds, they already did, and it was just like how I am. But I'm not very self-aware, so I thought it had to be heightened somehow. So I asked them to push it a little bit, and they didn't really. It sort of stayed the same. And I mean, I guess like all this, the tweeting stuff, I was like, oh yeah, that's funny, like what a douchey thing. But I added in some extra douchey things, like I pushed the hairstylist came on right before we shot, and I just pushed her away. And normally on set, I do that much more gently. And when I was walking out of a trailer, a PA said goodnight to me, and I dismissively called them, like, I think little fella or something like that. Or hey, yeah, buddy or whatever. I don't actually talk to them in real life. So there were little things that I was sort of heightening to make it more douchey. The sweater thing, I was like, I think I should wear like a really colorful sweater. at the time, I always wore really colorful sweaters that Jared and Jensen would make fun of me for. Yeah, so it was actually pretty much just spot on, just us. We're all playing ourselves. Jared really does have an alpaca, for instance. And a giant portrait of himself in his bedroom. It's funny when we started satirizing ourselves. We did that also for the behind-the-scenes mockumentary that I did. We were all sort of making fun of ourselves. And then in hindsight, like I watched that about 6 months ago and I was like, ooh, that really is just basically us. But anyway, so long story short, I felt like I was playing a super douchey version of myself, like a heightened satire of myself. And you know what a douche is, right?
Explain it. Explain it.
Don't explain it, actually, just let it go. In Germany, it means shower, right. That's good. Thank you. It's German for shower. My manager called after that episode aired and said, Misha, it's so great to see you just getting to play yourself. And I was like, that's how I come across? Anyway, so it was kind of traumatic, is the short answer to your question. It was traumatic. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So you keep arguing with me and telling me that Cass doesn't feel loved by Sam or Dean, and I was wondering what you think they should do
to fix that, to make him feel loved?
Yes.
I don't know. Do you have ideas? I mean, are you picturing like massage?
Well, I don't have any ideas because I disagree with you, so. And if you can't think of anything, I'm guessing you agree with me, so.
Oh, you're trying to get me to admit that I'm wrong?
No.
Yeah. Forget it. No, I think Cass definitely, I stand by my earlier assertions that he doesn't feel loved. Although, an interesting thing is happening in the beginning of the season this year, and you guys don't mind if I tell you everything that happened. I think, interestingly, I mean, now the show's been on for so long that all of the characters that we started with have gotten so old that they can't really use them anymore. So they brought on Alex, a new, fresh generation who has, you know, stamina and can stay awake for 12 hours at a stretch. That was one of the questions they asked in the audition, like, hypothetically, you've slept for 8 hours, how long can you stay awake? Because we're having trouble with some of our other actors. I don't know why I find that so funny. We do nap a lot in our trailers now. We used to day drink, and now we go take naps. Great read, Alex, thanks. Just out of curiosity, how long can you go between bathroom breaks? So we have this new generation, this fresh blood, full of vitality, and his character is feeling very low and bad at the beginning of the season, kind of like things that Cass has gone through before. And I, as Cass, am kind of consoling him and talking him through it. And interestingly, I think that process makes Cass understand that he does belong a little bit. So I was right, however things have changed now to make me even more right. And I think that by looking at the experience that Jack is going through and looking at things through the lens of his self-pity, Cass, I think, is able to take a step back and see that maybe he does belong, because he's arguing to Jack that Jack belongs. And I think that, you know, by the transitive property, he probably has to feel like he belongs too. Okay?
Yes,
You
that was
fucking satisfied?
that was
Hi.
Hi, I'm Casey.
Hi,
I just
Casey.
want to say I love you so much
Oh,
first.
goodness. It's soon for me, but I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you for wearing it.
Oh, you're welcome. Speaking about how Vicky called you earlier, I was wondering, what moment in time did you realize that, like, you loved your wife?
Aww.
God, I would have to say probably about 12 years into our marriage. There was a moment when I dropped something and she didn't hit me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm really starting to feel something for this woman, other than fear. Thank you. Well, we went to high school together, and for some reason, I was the only boy in our English seminar, which really helped my odds. And she was a preppy, and I was a hippie. I had like long hair and wore tie-dye shirts, and she wore blazers and penny loafers. And like really, we were from the other side of the tracks, and so there was some natural attraction there. And I wrote her a poem about her nose. And that was sort of the first salvo in our relationship. And then I'm going to just go through, it's only 27 years, so this shouldn't take long. And then we ended up dating for a little bit, and then, I don't know. I mean, I can tell you the exact moment that I first said those words, but it's super embarrassing.
Do it. Say it.
So I won't. No, I've never told anybody this.
Oh, come on, tell us.
It was about 5 minutes after we lost our virginity. And she was like, really? Now you're gonna say that? A little on the nose, don't you think? But I didn't know. I just was, riding the wave. So anyway, thank you, and I'm sorry. Hi.
Hi.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God.
You know what? There's a lot of light here, and I couldn't quite see. I thought you were just carrying a bag of potatoes. You're not a bag of potatoes, are you?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
You're not sure? How would you know if you were a bag of potatoes?
I don't know.
That'll cook your noodle, won't it? What is your name?
Nathan.
Davany? Davany? Huh. Wow. How old are you?
6.5.
You're already 6.5? Holy smokes. Where are you going to go to college? Do you have a car?
I don't go in first grade.
You're going to go to first grade? Wait, are you in first grade? Oh, you're going to start first grade when school starts again, huh?
Yeah.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah.
You are? Do you know other kids that are going to be in the class? Or is it going to be all new kids? Do you not want to talk about it? I remember first grade. I remember first grade very well. I used to hide from the school bus so I wouldn't have to go. It's true. And then I go home and tell my mom I missed the bus.
She'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
Can you come to my birthday party?
When is your birthday party?
What on the 29th?
November 29th.
November 29th? Where is it? In Chicago?
Indiana.
Indiana. Would you be willing to have your birthday party in Vancouver? Well, I don't know if I can make it because I have so many birthday parties I have to go to around that time. But maybe I can send you a birthday present or something. Do you like, or maybe you don't even like presents. I shouldn't make assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah? You do like presents? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to get your address. That's a little creepy. Never mind. Okay, you're the mom. Oh, and you trusted this woman. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the stripper.
I'm sorry if that made you uncomfortable.
No, it didn't make me uncomfortable. It just made everybody who works for creation uncomfortable. She came in for the photo op and she's like, I'm gonna do like a little lap dance for you. And I was like, okay, great. And I sat down in the chair and she's like, started taking off her clothes and the creation staff essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, tackled you. I was like, oh, interesting. This is a perk of the job. But we digress, and you're holding a small child, so. Okay, well, we should definitely connect about birthday stuff and find out, you know. Oh, your birthday is kind of close to Christmas, huh? Cool. Does that mean you get extra stuff? Yeah, all right. All right, good talking to you. Bye. Happy birthday coming up. Yep. Hi.
Hi, Misha. I'm Megan.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I was
That was a
wondering...
very sort of awkward juxtaposition there. Because it was a small child, and then it was also the woman who was taking her shirt off a few minutes ago. Oh, life is so weird. So, yes, you were saying?
I was wondering, what do you think Cass is going to do to help Dean in season 14?
Well, I know some of the things because I got scripts, so I won't be just guessing. No, I'm not going to. What's that? Oh, okay. And then later I could be, when Warner Brothers calls and like, what the hell, why did you tell everybody what happens? I could be like, I was just guessing, I don't know. I totally forget everything is the minute I read it, so I don't know what to do. I don't know how to solve this problem of this question. Because I can't really tell you, and I don't really remember. I can turn it around on you. What should Cass do to help? I know, it's a tough question, huh? How would you like to be on the spot up here? I'm gonna just not answer the question. Is that okay?
No.
Great, what a great way out of this problem. I don't know why I don't use that device more often. I wanted to share with you guys a couple pieces of exciting news. One is that we have a very special guest in our audience today, Brady Tennell, who is a U.S. Olympic figure skater. She is going to come up on stage tonight. Yeah, she didn't really agree to that before, but now she's on the spot and has to. Sorry. Thank you for all of your hard work and for making America so proud. Pretty awesome. What an incredible feat to rise to the top of the top like that. It's really very impressive. So congratulations, and thank you for being here. Thank you for wearing supernatural earrings. That's really cool. That will be the coolest thing that happened to me this weekend. And I also wanted to tell you guys that I bought you a little present. I hope that's okay. I bought a star for you. For the Supernatural family. So there's a Supernatural family star. I'm not going to find it right now, but I'll tweet out the coordinates for you later, so then you can know what our star is. I've always wondered with those, like, you know, buy a star and dedicate it to somebody who thinks, if they, I mean, I think that other people probably have bought the same star. And I wonder who we're sharing the star with. Like, what if it's, I don't know, the Sherlock fandom as well, or something like that? Wouldn't that be weird?
Yes.
What? What? Oh, the Supernatural Family star. Yeah. Oh,
Thank you, thank you.
I know, it's a great personal sacrifice. Yeah, but you guys are a lovely group of people, and I'm deeply appreciative to be at all a part of it. So thanks for being here, and thanks for being so lovely and supportive of one another and of the world. You guys are a force for good out there. In aggregate, not all of you obviously, but it's a good community to be a part of, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. That is not the end, although it felt like the end of this panel. It is just an awkward interlude that leads into our next question, which I think is over here. No, it's over there, because that was the question I didn't answer. Hi. How are you?
Misha, I'm Rich.
Hi, Rich. Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you? I just want to say, you know, when I had my 2 little kids and 2 little girls, I found myself at a high chair doing voices and characters, Elmo and Pixar characters and so forth. I know you do a lot of character voices on the show, so I was just wondering how far back that goes as far as doing character voices to inspire you. When did that, you know, come to be in your life?
When I was in high school, I started doing weird. When I was in high school, I started doing a Russian foreign exchange student.
Voice?
And I would go places and pretend to be a Russian foreign exchange student because I found I could get free things that way. And then when I was in college, I started doing an Indian accent, which in hindsight obviously seems incredibly weird and racist, but I would do it like on the phone all the time because people couldn't see me. And occasionally I would do it out in public, like I'd go up to a cop and ask for directions with an Indian accent, and they'd be like, I just didn't know what to do with it. And I'd be like, I'm really not certain, where am I going? Do I want to go past Times Square? Or is there a more roundabout scenic way I can go? And I even did this with my hand for some reason. I have this weird thing when I do voices, it usually is accompanied by some physical tic. Castiel is, and it's very unconscious. Now I have this character that is a warm, wet mouth masseuse. And it's hard to do when there's not a person nearby. Well, why don't you come up, sorry. So this is the character. I came out of nowhere, but it's sort of like, wow, you look really tense today. Oh, I'm gonna give you a little bit of massage. That's okay. No, that's okay. You can just relax. You don't gotta do nothing. And because this is your first time, excuse me, don't be so bossy, okay? Because this is your first time, I'm not gonna charge you the usual rent. You get a discount, 5% off. But you're gonna have to pay before we can finish up. I'm sorry. And I talk like this to my kids, and at first they laugh and think it's so funny, and then they get really mad. And they say, stop it, I don't like it no more. So, thank you. A pleasure, Rich. So this character for some came out of nowhere. Oh, I know why it happened, because I got some of those googly eyes and I put it on my finger. And wow, these guys just come to life. And always talking about the price of the massage and the discount or not discount that they're gonna get. And also talking about the baby. Exactly, what baby? And so the kids are always like, where's the baby? And I said, I don't know, I'll go check, I'll go get the baby. Dad, And then, nothing. Oh, they must be out on the walk or something, they're not around. And the kids started getting really frustrated, like, where's the fucking baby? We want to make a baby. And they got to the point where they were like, stop it, stop it. They were hitting my hand, like they hated this character, and they wanted to meet the baby. And so I put it away, like they were actually not liking it anymore. It was not fun. I mean, it was fun for me, but it wasn't fun for them. And so we got in, we were grocery shopping, we got in the van, and suddenly, hey guys, what happened? This guy just popped out all of a sudden, and Wes said, I want to meet the baby. And I said, okay, no problem, I just saw the baby's definitely around. Let me just quick text my dad. And then I texted, Dad's out on a walk with the baby again. And West, he's 7 years old, he starts crying in the car seat. He just wanted to meet the baby so bad. So I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And so we got home and I was like, great news guys, Dad just got back and the baby is here, but he's sleeping. And then the dad came in, and the dad, turns out, had severe PTSD and was blind drunk. So, I don't know where any of this came from, but the dad was trying to talk and slurring his words and falling asleep. And every loud noise made him jump. Anyway, yeah, so it's a mixed blessing in our house. It definitely drives a wedge between me and my family members, but I enjoy it. And that's been like that from the beginning. I remember I used to do these weird accents, and Vicky would be like, stop it, just stop it, you're embarrassing me, stop it. But I had this one friend, Alejandro Yegros, who is now living in Boston, and he's just a great guy and an incredible cartoonist. And he and I were friends in college, and I have never really told him this, I don't think, or credited him at all, but I used to do accents all the time, and I would sort of put on little, like, shows of doing accents, and people would, listen for 5 minutes before they got bored. And he was always like, man, you're pretty good at that. I don't know, you could maybe do that for a living. And honestly, I think that's why I was like, after college, I was like, oh, maybe I'll try acting or something. It was like his encouragement of my weird accents that made me feel like, well, not good at anything else. So yeah, thanks. Yes?
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
I'm Tina. So, first of all, I wanted to thank you for willingly extending Gish for a few more days.
That video made me laugh. I thought it was funny.
Not the only one. So, I wanted to ask you, I was wondering if I could get The Rock and Kevin Hart in on Gish, because those two are known for doing some really crazy crap to each other.
Okay.
And I have no idea, because I'm like a small Twitter person, how to get those guys to notice Gish and get on board.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you had any ideas, or what can we do short of like felony jail time to get them on board?
Wait, short of what?
Short of felony jail time. I mean, I'll do jail time for you, but I don't know.
Like you want to do sort of more along the lines of misdemeanor jail time, not felony stuff. I'm catching your drift. How long would you be willing to be in the clink?
I'm thinking misdemeanor-ish.
Yeah, okay, all right. I think we're on the same page. All right, I'll make a note. We'll try to make it happen. Wait, but do you have any ideas? It's sort of like you're coming up here and saying, hey, I have an idea, come up with an idea, which is not exactly fair. Okay, so how would we, like, what kind of, I actually don't know about the pranks that they play on each other. What do they do to each other?
Well, I don't think I can kind of say that with small children.
Well, are you kidding? The shit that we've been talking about? It's all right. These kids are kind of a lost cause anyway. Can anyone tell me who's not afraid of hurting children? Okay, I'll Google it. But I'll write down those names and then figure out if there's a way that we can coerce them en masse to do something. Does that sound good?
That sounds fantastic, because I think it'll bring a lot of great awareness to Gish. To get
Okay.
those guys
Or more importantly, awareness to the probably weird phallic pranks that they play on each other.
Well, that would be a bonus.
Great. Okay. Let's be honest with each other. Yeah. Oh, what is one of the pranks? Oh, well, that sounds kind of cool. I wonder what. Yeah, I'm trying to think if any of our castmates have any phobias like that, and none are cropping up. I know that there's a Thai curry coconut soup that the smell of it makes Jensen want to vomit. So sometimes we'll put a few containers of that in his trailer. But yeah, we don't have a lot of those, unfortunately. Mark Pellegrino is allergic to shrimp, so we try to put a little extra shrimp in things that shouldn't have shrimp in them. He had a shrimp episode. Did he tell you about his shrimp episode? No. Oh man, well maybe there's a private thing that he doesn't want to talk about, but too bad. There was a sandwich, I guess it was maybe not labeled. We have sandwich time, like 3 hours into shooting every morning. We have sandwich time. There was a sandwich that maybe wasn't labeled or mislabeled or something. And he picked it up and ate it. And he's very careful about not eating shrimp because he's allergic to it. And he had a few bites and he's like, oh, this is delicious. I love this. I never have sandwiches like this. A few more bites and he's like, and I saw him by the trailer, standing by the trailer, and I was like, Mark, aren't you supposed to be on set? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to the hospital. So that sort of slowed shooting down that day. I think he really just didn't know his lines. He was like, I'm allergic to shrimp. Wait, I never made a note. If I don't make a note, I will never do it. Sorry, Vicky's texting. And it's not lovey-dovey. All right, Kevin Hart. How do you spell that? H-A-R-T?
Yep.
Okay. God, it's hard to text with one thumb. Okay. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So my name is.
You're kind of, you go from being audible to not being audible.
Okay, let's start.
All right, let's start over.
My name is Danielle, and.
Hi, Danielle. That's my sister's name.
I know. Oh,
You played that very cool.
Okay, so this upcoming week is my golden birthday. I'll be turning 18.
Oh, is that what that's called? Golden birthday?
Yeah.
Why is it a golden birthday?
On the 18th, I'm turning 18. So.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Is that why it's golden?
I suppose so, yeah.
Is 18 always golden? No. So golden is when you turn the year. Okay. Don't talk to me like I'm stupid. Okay, got it.
Okay, so this conversation in itself is just kind of like a great birthday gift. My mom is responsible.
Happy birthday,
for this.
by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so my question is, have you noticed how, let me rephrase this.
How old do I feel?
Actually has something to do with Cass. So, do you remember when Cass was up against that demon and the demon tried smoking out and Cass just put his hand over his mouth and was just like, he totally just killed the demon. It was really cool. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
My point is, Cass used to do like really cool things that like no one else could do. And don't get me wrong, he's my favorite character ever in the world, but he kind of gets beaten up by humans now. Or he could take on like a whole Jefferson Starship army, so I'm just wondering if there's a reason for that. Do we know? Is it just the writers? Yeah, sorry.
Thank you for bringing that up. This is so awkward. I don't know. I mean, I think that one of the reasons is that from a storytelling standpoint, the problem is that the writers were finding early on with Castiel is like, oh, they have this cool superhero. Sam and Dean have this new superhero friend who can time travel, teleport, make things move telekinetically, read minds, evaporate people's personalities, what else? Kill people and make someone fall unconscious with a tap of a finger. Now, we're in a lot of fights, and you'd think he could just be like, I mean, we didn't establish that, right? Like, he can just go, and you fall asleep, which I think he should use more often instead of letting people punch him. So he also used to be able to just like go like this, and the doors would blow off the hinges and things like that. But I think that what happened was the writers were finding that Cass was too powerful. And so it was really easy for him to solve all the problems. Like, he's impervious to being stabbed with the demon blade or being shot or anything, frankly. And so they needed to find ways to hobble him all the time so that everything wasn't a cakewalk. And so, you know, he lost his grace, he became human, he became crazy. You know, there were all of these, he became Leviathan, there were all of these things that happened that made it so that Cass couldn't really be that helpful. And then I think over time, Cass maybe just sort of aged out of being cool. And now he's like a sort of helpful friend. Who's a little bit stronger and a little bit more impervious, but not, you know, doesn't have superpowers, or doesn't have, you know, so many superpowers that he can solve all problems with a snap of a finger. Now he doesn't have wings, so, or his wings are broken, so he can't, you know, he can't teleport. That solved a big problem. Because, you know, Cass could it used to be he could just like go around the world, although sometimes now he can too. And I just got back from Israel. Syria, I just got back from Syria. Really? That was a fucking long trip, man. Anyway. So, I don't have a real answer for you, but we do have an expression, and I think that it would serve this fandom well to listen to it. We have an expression that we say on set, and I think you guys should also live by this, which is don't pull the thread. Be like, but why is, just don't pull the thread. Don't pull the thread. Boo! Boo! Hi guys.
Listen, just to echo your don't pull the thread thing, I was literally having a conversation with somebody, because we were in pre-production about something, and all 5 people started screaming, sweater, sweater, don't pull the sweater. This code for just stop it, don't do it. You're gonna unravel the whole thing, man.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, and gosh, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but a lot of the stuff that we show on Supernatural is made up.
Well, it's out there now.
So wait a minute.
You can't put that back into it.
I'm not really God?
No, a lot of it's based on reality.
That's true. That part's true. That part. Calm down, Bobo. Man, hold on. We can't tell Rob. It'll kill him. We can't tell Rob. Guys, don't tell Rob he's not coming.
Go, why don't you just go enjoy your golden birthday and stop pulling the thread, okay? Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Misha. First, my friends will kill me if I don't tell you how much you are loved, because just everything you do, we love you for you.
Thank you for being so kind. There's a lot of things that you don't see, though.
You can always tell when somebody hasn't spent any real time with you.
congrats on being cast for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And to completely switch gears, my question is, what Hogwarts house would you belong to, and which one would Cass be in?
Okay, that's a great question. I would probably be in the Shire. Yeah, and I think Cass most likely would be in the Death Star. Yeah.
Rob is clearly a snigglepoof.
And we're a Steppenwolf.
Thank you, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him, quite frankly, you worship him. Misha
Well, everybody.